make one of my favorite Indian dishes here, which I actually get pretty much everywhere in every Indian restaurant in New York City. Chana Masala. Yes, everyone here just absolutely loves it. So let me break it down in 3 easy steps to super simplify this recipe for you. People back in India call it chole. That's what I called it growing up. People also call it chickpeas, garbanzo beans. People love to have it here over rice. But back in India, we also have it on a slice of bread, garnished with some fresh cilantro and some onions. So chickpeas basically look like this. You can soak them overnight, and when you do, they kind of swell up and soften. If you don't want to soak them overnight, you can also buy them canned. If you do buy them canned, I would suggest you overlook my step 1. The other things that you will need is a pressure cooker or a slow cooker, and tomatoes, onions, cilantro powder, red chili powder, salt to taste, bay leaf, a black cardamom, which has a very strong, smoky, camphor-like flavor and gives it this amazing aroma. If you don't have it, it's totally fine. And 2 cloves. Chana Masala. You can get it absolutely anywhere, any Indian store. And if you don't have that either, I think it will still taste fine, but I would suggest if you can find Chana Masala, it would be great. The first step is basically boiling the chana or making it slightly softer, because even though they swell up and absorb water, they're still pretty hard and you can't really chew them. Second step is simultaneously, we are going to make a sauce. Now this is a basic sauce that is used for a lot of Indian lentils and beans. It's a combination of ginger garlic paste, red onions and tomatoes. And while that sauce is getting prepared and the chana is boiling, you're going to half boil it. After those 2 steps are done, the third step is basically merging the 2. You put the chana masala and the sauce together, put in all the spices and let it simmer. If you're using canned garbanzo beans or chickpeas, please avoid step 1. You do not need to boil them any further. You just have to make the sauce, that's step 2, and then continue from then on. So I took just a little bit of water, just enough to cover the chickpeas, and then I add a pinch of salt. And I'm going to pressure cook this. I will give it only 2 whistles, just to make them kind of semi-soft, because I want them to get completely soft only after they are soaking in the sauce and the spices. While that is boiling, I'm going to start preparing the sauce. I took avocado oil, but you can also use canola oil or vegetable oil, say 1.5 or 2 tablespoons. And while that oil is heating up, I'll quickly chop the onions. The oil is really hot. I'm going to start with putting the chopped onions. It's going to sizzle. So lower the flame to a medium. I'm going to take ginger garlic paste and I'm going to stir it. And while these onions are getting softer, I'm going to chop the tomatoes. So I stir it a little bit so these onions don't get stuck. Meanwhile, my chickpeas are still boiling. It did give out 1 whistle. I'm waiting for the second one. The onions look kind of soft now. So I'm going to throw in the tomatoes and mix them up. That was the second whistle. So I'm going to turn that stove off because I don't want to overcook them. But I'm not going to open it yet. I'm going to let them sit in there while I make my sauce. You want them to get really soft before you hand blend them. So I'm going to just blend this bad boy. Make sure you put the blade entirely inside the sauce so it doesn't splatter on you. Just have to be really careful because this thing is hot. I've turned the stove off, don't forget. Now I'm blending it really good. The sauce is now ready. So after I blend the sauce, you see it's nice and thick. And I'm going to set the sauce aside. I'm going to check these chickpeas. See, now if you look at these, they're nice and soft. So I'm going to be a little careful now. When I add the sauce to the chickpeas, stir it. I'm going to add all the spices and Chana Masala. I took a big teaspoon of the Chana Masala, but you can also do 1 whole tablespoon of Chana Masala. And I'm going to stop at that. I can always add more later. I'm going to boil the chickpeas open now. after adding all the spices and the salt because I want some of the water to evaporate and I want the chickpeas to soak in all the sauces and the spices. Occasionally I will stir it and check on it. And now for my secret ingredient. I use something called tamarind concentrate. You can also soak tamarind, but I'd say don't bother with that. Just get tamarind concentrate because I like my chickpeas a little on the sour side. You can also add lime instead of tamarind paste if you don't have that at home. So I'm going to take a tablespoon of tamarind paste and I'm going to add a handful of freshly chopped cilantro. Cilantro is a must in Indian cooking. We pretty much garnish everything with freshly chopped cilantro. And stir it really good. I'm going to taste it. It's perfect. I don't even need to add any more salt or chana masala. You can always adjust the spices. You can add more lime if you don't have tamarind paste, or you can add more tamarind paste. You can add more salt, more chili, and even more chana masala. And enjoy your chana masala. Let me know if you like it.